You dive. Wind rushes past your face as the sea of black sand spreads out before you. The translucent bubbles of colony dome cities dot the landscape. You're rejoining the earth your people left behind. You just wish this time wasn't so dire. Your island is sinking. Can you save it?
What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here to bring you a gameplay review of Dust to Dust. So you guys have seen content over the past couple of weeks as we've kind of been gearing everything towards the end of the Kickstarter. For those of you who don't know, Kickstarter is fully funded, so thank you so much for the support. Any of you guys who have watched videos, commented, or thrown Spencer some money to get this thing funded, we appreciate the support more than you'll ever know. But for those of you who weren't aware, Kickstarter will enter its completion Monday, August 16th. So I believe it's happening at midnight there. Don't quote me on the exact hours, and obviously with this video posting, a few things will change. But you guys basically have about a day, at least through Sunday, to go fund and get yourself secure your copy of the first edition version of Dust to Dust, and take advantage of any of the other perks like the playmats and anything like that you guys want to get your hands on. So with that being said, I wanted to give kind of my gameplay review, and this doesn't mean that we're done making content. We've got another 4-person match coming at you here over the course of the next couple of days. I know I mentioned it in one of the previous videos, but we just haven't gotten a chance around to commentating it, but that will be coming up shortly. And the game feels good, guys. For those of you who are looking for kind of that competitive TCG, a physical card game in kind of the 21st century world that we live in, where everything is digital now, games like Hearthstone, Legends when we played it, and other things along those lines, this game feels really good just to have something in your hands and get, 2 to 4 people at the table to play at a board game night. It scratches that itch from a competitive TCG standpoint. Especially since you can play at 1v1, or like you guys saw in the video previously, with 4 people at the table. So highly recommend picking it up if you're looking to scratch that itch. But otherwise, the game has a very low barrier to entry, because again, you get everything in the box. So there are no I need to bring a deck to the table, I need to invest in whatever the next set is, and I'm sure there will be expansions. Spencer mentioned a little bit of that over the course of our interview, and if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that yet, definitely go check it out. But he mentioned that down the road, and I think over the course of time, we'll probably see a few expansions come, maybe in the getting some new relics, maybe some new ally cards and things like that. But other than that, it'll be a one-time buy, and not anywhere near what it would cost to buy into a set for a TCG like Magic, Kaijudo when it was still around, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, things like that. So highly recommend getting into it, if not just for the very low barrier to entry. And then again, you bring the box to your board game night, and now you and your friends have something to play and just kind of, for lack of a better term, just mess around with while, you guys are hanging out. So other than that, it's from a competitive standpoint, I compare a lot of things to chess. Look at a game on the aspect of, it's easy to play, easy to get into. The cards make a lot of sense, hard to master, and that's my favorite part about TCGs. There's so many different lines of play, and being able to navigate those properly and getting good at navigating them is super satisfying, and that's what this game offers. It's very easy just to kind of blind pick cards out of a pool that you and your friends have decided you guys wanted to play with, but drafting adds an element to that skill tree. Otherwise, just picking some of the recommended sets, like you guys have seen us use the Crystallize, the Fortify, and the Begin set. They're a lot of fun, and they offer a lot of different lines of play and different ways, and especially too in the 1v1 versus like a 4-player game, you know, you guys can play with the same set 1v1 and it can feel drastically different than playing with 4 people at the table. And on that same note, you know, the 1v1 games that Gorby and I have played, where we played with the begin set a few times, all of those games have been drastically different. You know, just in terms of what we're picking up, different types of ways that we want to play, you know, and what your opponent's doing and drawing when they're, you know, doing it and drawing it. So, you know, it's just, I can't say it enough that this game offers a lot of what I've been looking for in a physical card game that's not a TCG, that now I can literally bring to, you know, my LGS, my, you know, just a friend's house, and just sit down, and if we're all at the table and like, hey, why don't we try this out? You know, it's something cool to do, and you know, it's a great way to spend some time and play a game that not everybody needs to be deck ready for, which I think speaks to, you know, exactly what Spencer was trying to accomplish with this. And obviously now that we've got it funded, you know, it's great because we're going to be able to get it into the hands of a ton of people over the course of the next couple of months. Once everything ships out, I think towards October-ish, November-ish, you know, whenever that post date is. But yeah, it's just it feels good, and I can't say that enough. And like I said, I'm gonna talk over myself a lot. So the reason I have all of this open space over here is because I wanted to talk to the game's lore a little bit. So obviously the gameplay feels super fluid. You know, this has been years in the making to get this game to feel just right, and obviously we're still tweaking it a little bit. There's some things with cards that, you know, might get changed a little bit here and there, but I want to talk to the art direction. You know, obviously we've got just this dust to dust logo, you know, with the characters and the big dome sitting. I'll see if I can't. No, I can't pull it up. Oh my god, we're gonna cancel it. So, but you know, this big dust to dust image that you guys have been seeing as far as our overlay, or our underlay rather, to our fat videos in the past, you know, this art that Bonnie John has put together is phenomenal to say the least. You know, it looks so good. And again, just a tribute to the team that Spencer has been working with throughout the course of this project's you know, life, is the art is phenomenal. So some things I wanted to speak to were a little bit of the lore, you know, talking about all these cards having flavor text, the idea that you're a diver, you know, diving down to Earth, you know, URTH as this world's called, you know, and intermixing with the biofauna, the machina, the colonies, and trying to, you know, bring, you know, get your city back into the sky, if you will, because that's where you're coming from. Just the idea that you're not necessarily part of the colony, which I'd always assumed that I was a part of, and you guys can hear us talk to that in length over the course of the interview. But you know, the lore of this game and the feel of it, and you know, all of the ideas that Spencer's tried to kind of pack into this world that he's built. Everything's super fluid, everything is cohesive, everything speaks to one another, and everything flows incredibly well. In the art direction, you know, what Bonnie John's been able to put together for this set has brought all of that together. So some cards I wanted to show off were, and again, excuse me for not knowing how reverse cameras work, but cards like Ferntip Hare and Vineclaw Wolf. You know, Vineclaw is chasing the Ferntip Hare, as you can see in this image. You know, and you know, that they're interacting, talking about how, you know, biofauna still have to, you know, eat too. You know, there's flavor text there. You know, if you look at the ground on Ferntip Hare, I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my cards while I'm, you know, going over this, but there's little tiny specks of light, if you can make that out. I don't know if I've uploaded this in HD for you guys enough, but it speaks to the on-brandness of this channel. But you know, those little balls of energy are the energy cells. So, you know, they exist within this world. You know, all of these things intermingling, the energy cells that we're playing to, you know, recruit allies and make our plays and buy these relics, and kind of the trade that exists within this game is, you know, it's all brought to life in the art that, you know, Bonnie John has worked so closely with Spencer on making sure that, you know, this everything is realized the correct way. You know, another note is, you know, all the little hidden things that Spencer talked about. You know, one being, and I don't know, this super hidden is kind of one of the more very obvious ones, but look at Mountaintop Tortoise and Dome City Generator. That is a dome city on top of a mountaintop tortoise. You know, that is that world on that tortoise, and I'm sure it's carrying them around. And you know, again, the flavor text speaks to that. But just that, you know, this is a world that we live in, and all of these things are intermingling, and you know, you can see where certain cards are coming from, things in the backgrounds of other cards, where everything is, again, just very fluid, for lack of a better word. And then the last thing, I didn't really showcase it too much in the interview. I should have put the overlay in there. But cards like Fuse Gatekeeper, that is the gate key sitting on his little belt loop right there. So, you know, it's a relic, and it exists within this world. You know, we're not just buying these stock things. It's just sort of a win condition for a card game. You know, these are legitimate pieces that exist in this world that are playing towards a bigger story that, you know, we're involved in, that we're essentially role playing in, again, as the diver, you know, and the diver being very mysterious, for lack of a better word. You know, like I said, enough can't be said to just the lore and what Spencer's been able to put together here, you know, because we don't necessarily know what a diver is. A diver is whatever you identify as in this world. You know, do you want to bring other people's worlds down, you know, which the cards speak to? You can draft a ton of, you know, attack heavy cards and just attack your opponents, or are you more of the, you know, with like the biofauna, re-establishing and trying to pull things back from the dust and build this world that you're living in and try to make it, you know, I guess, for lack of a better word, just like a healthier play style, you know, just trying to reuse and recycle, you know, the things that other players are throwing away. And you know, and all of these strategies, you know, all of the strategies speak to the lore, which speak to the world you're playing in, which speak to just the game in general. And I think it's cool that all of this stuff can come together and create this awesome game that, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, you can, it's like a TCG, you know, you don't put a lot of thought into it when you're playing, you know, whatever card against whatever opponent. But, you know, if you really dive into a TCG, you know, you can see some of the flavor text. Like Pokemon's a prime example of it, where, you know, there's this world that all of these creatures live in, and they all have flavor text, they all have personalities, they all have, you know, roles to play in that universe. You know, Dust to Dust does a great job of, you know, giving you the universe, and the cards all playing into that some way or another. You know, it's just a different way of looking at it. And, you know, all of the cards, if you read the flavor text on all of them, they all speak to what they're trying to accomplish within this world. And again, a world that you're getting to be a part of as you play the game of Dust to Dust. But, you know, the difference being in, you know, Pokemon, where you're just battling each other's Pokemon, these cards are all playing towards the world that you're trying to be in, and they're all playing towards you trying to just bring your world back to life, more or less. So, you know, something cool. And like I said, I probably overstated it more than enough, but at the end of the day, I don't know that it can be said enough. Again, so go check out the Kickstarter. You guys have about 24 hours to go fund it. Secure your copy of the first edition of Dust to Dust, get a box of your own, and have it shipped directly to your doorstep so you can play it, you know, with your friends and everybody else who wants to be a part of it. Tell your friends if you've already invested in it. Get them excited. Let them know that, hey, you know, this is the last push. And again, if we get to 25K, which I think we're only about 3K away from right now, if we can get there, we can get holographic relics, which is super cool. I'm all about that. So go check it out. If I've talked this into the ground enough, awesome. If not, just comment and let me know what you guys' favorite part of what we've been putting together so far is, what you guys are excited for as far as getting your hands on the game, and you know, and like I said, we can go from there. So stay tuned. We've got another 4-player match coming at you that myself and then possibly either CVH, Gorby, or both, you know, might get a chance to commentate on. We'll bring that game to you here in the next couple of days, and otherwise stay on the lookout for more content. So excuse the thunderstorm in the background, and go check it out if you haven't already. Links down below. Go support the thing. Go get yourself a copy. And like I said, we'll see you guys next time.